up! The world is full of lost ballads just waiting to be rediscovered.
By firing an arrow infused with coalesced winds, Venti creates a fierce storm that sucks in surrounding enemies and deals anemo damage. Contact with hydro, pyro, cryo, or electro elements causes the storm to absorb that element and deal additional elemental damage.
There must be those who dare to pierce the darkness with their light.
Verdict is...
Surrounding himself in flames, Diluc knocks nearby enemies back, before gathering the flames into his blade and launching a phoenix, dealing massive pyro damage to enemies in its path. Diluc's normal and charged attacks will also deal pyro damage for a period of time.
As the wind continues to blow, so too shall I continue to fight. Wind, hear me!
Calling upon the wind's protection, Jean creates a dandelion field, knocking nearby enemies back and dealing anemo damage. The field also quickly heals nearby allies and all party members. This healing scales with Jean's attack power. The dandelion field continuously heals characters within it, infusing them with anemo, while dealing anemo damage to enemies who enter or leave the field.
This was ordained by fate. Long had I foreseen it. Fate is upon you!
Mona summons sparkling waves and creates a reflection of the starry sky, applying the wet and illusory bubble statuses onto all enemies in the area. When affected by illusory bubble, weaker enemies will be imprisoned and unable to move. Attacking imprisoned enemies removes that status from them, and deals an instance of hydro damage. When the status is cleared, the enemy comes under an omen. Enemies affected by an omen take more damage.
I am Chi-Chi. I am a zombie. And I forgot what comes next. Sacred name, Fortune Preserver.
When Chi-Chi releases the adeptal power sealed inside herself, she marks nearby enemies with a fortune-preserving talisman and deals cryo damage to them. When enemies marked with fortune-preserving talismans take damage, the character dealing the damage is healed. By choosing an opportune moment to use Adeptus Art Preserver of Fortune, the whole team can be protected while dishing out damage.
Can I come play with you today? Please? I want to go on an adventure. Blow them all up!
Klee's Blazing Delight, Sparks and Splash, continuously attacks nearby enemies for the duration of the skill, dealing AoE pyro damage. Sparks and Splash has high damage and attack rate, empowering Klee to deal immense damage while on the battlefield.
The wind is picking up. There's conflict in the air. Riptide!
In ranged stance, Tartaglia swiftly fires a hydro-imbued magic arrow ahead of him, which deals area of effect hydro damage, and also applies the Riptide status to enemies. Afterwards, Tartaglia regains some of his spent energy.
Shouldn't let your guard down!
In melee stance, Tartaglia performs a slashing attack with a wide area of effect, dealing substantial hydro damage to all surrounding enemies. And if the elemental burst hits an enemy affected by Riptide, the Riptide effect will be consumed in a hydro explosion, which deals area of effect hydro damage.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
This is order!
Zhongli can bring a huge meteor crashing down, dealing massive geo damage and applying petrification to enemies caught near the impact site. Petrified enemies become immobilized. After unlocking the talent Dominance of Earth, Planet Befall deals additional damage to enemies, which scales with Zhongli's max HP. Crystallized Geo Energy bursts forth at Albedo's command, dealing AoE Geo damage in front of Albedo. If Albedo's solar isotoma is still present on the battlefield, 7 fatal blossoms are generated in the solar isotoma field, which bloom aggressively, dealing AoE Geo damage. After unlocking the talent Homuncular Nature, Albedo's elemental burst increases nearby party members' elemental mastery for a period of time.
My job is to honor my contract with Rex Lapis by looking out for the interests of all living things in Liyue.
Glaze over!
Ganyu coalesces atmospheric frost to summon a sacred cryo pearl. While it's active, the sacred cryo pearl will continuously rain down shards of ice upon enemies within a set area, dealing cryo damage. Celestial Shower deals damage while serving as a reliable source of cryo that allows Ganyu's allies to trigger corresponding elemental reactions and further increase their damage output. After unlocking the talent Harmony Between Heaven and Earth with Ganyu in your party, all active party members within Celestial Shower's AoE gain a cryo damage bonus.
When the sun's out, bathe in sunlight. But when the moon's out, bathe in moonlight.
Higher, pants on fire!
Hu Tao commands a blazing spirit to deal pyro damage in a large AoE. When her elemental burst hits enemies, Hu Tao regenerates a certain percentage of her max HP. A maximum of 5 enemies can affect this percentage. Additionally, using this skill when Hu Tao's HP is low deals greater damage and regenerates more HP.
We live in an era of change, as the old order that has existed for 1,000 years is about to be rewritten.
Cut to the chase!
Kuching unleashes her electro power, causing electro AoE damage. Hiding behind the shadow of her sword, she relentlessly slashes surrounding enemies at lightning speed, dealing multiple rounds of damage, with a final burst of electro AoE damage at the end. After unlocking the talent Aristocratic Dignity, casting Starward Sword increases Kuching's crit rate and energy recharge for a period of time.
Conquering demons is what I do.
When Shao unleashes an elemental burst, he dons the Yaksha's mask that once struck fear into gods and demons alike. His attacks now deal animo damage, which cannot be overridden by another elemental infusion. And Shao's attack AoE and damage are both increased. In addition, Shao's jumping ability is greatly enhanced, allowing him to assail the enemy with plunging attacks.